Here's the original shed kick. Here's our recreation. Hey everyone, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the infamous shed head high kick. A lot of people on the internet have been wondering how to recreate this kick. It's a classic techno kick. It sounds really good too, and I think it can be used in the modern setting. Today I'm going to show you how they did it. I haven't seen anybody recreate it yet on YouTube or on the internet, so I'm going to break it down. I figured it out. There's a few little finesse techniques to really make it work. To go along this video, I've got the whole template, which has the recreation, plus I made these 4 other kicks. Using the exact same technique. The link is at the top of the description. It's just $5 and you get the remake plus the other kicks in this style, so you can learn from this and make your own kick like this. Again, link is at the top of the description. Thanks for the support, everybody, and let's dive in. Alright, so this kick is quite elusive. A lot of people have wanted to know how to do it. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you the secret is it's a very fat 909 kick and then really good shaping on the rumble. So to start off with, I'll take off the processing. It just starts with a basic 909 kick. Right? And that's what we have here. We're at 128 BPM. So this is a 909. To tell you the truth, this is a sample that I made by layering together a few 909 kicks. And what I was particularly looking for is it has a lot of low end, right? It's a very boomy one, which you can get out of the drum machine by kind of turning the tune up and giving it a bit more decay. And then there's also that click on top. Like if you listen, this is the original track. You hear that? There's like the click to the 909. So I layered those together, got this big fat 909 sample. You know, and that's pretty much it. And I wanted to show you that with layering, you really don't need a whole lot of processing. Like, if you can get the right sample, and if you can just dig around and find a 909 kick that really does that, that already has that same level of punch and that same level of boom. You know, and then it also has the click. You don't need to do too much over processing. And I think this is where people go wrong, is they hear this kick, they think, oh, okay, so let me take a, you know, like the Ableton Core 909, and then just start putting a bunch of drum bass on it and stuff, and then it doesn't quite get there. And that's going to throw you off, because it's really more about the sample you're starting with than it is the processing. I mean, just showing you guys here, like, being able to recreate this techno kick that a lot of people have struggled with no processing on the kick. Like, it's really not that. It's more so just about finding a sample. Like I said, just putting together different samples, or if you got a 909 yourself, or like a TR9 or something like that, just getting that and shaping it to actually be what you want is going to get you a lot further than processing ever will. So we have that happening there. That's the main kick. And I started with that. And then we created the rumble. So what I got there is I've got this 909, which is actually not the same one. It's one of the ones I made while I was trying to get this kick ready. But I created that, right? You just put the reverb on, kind of set the decay, make it 100% wet. And then I have this muted because what I did, I wanted to show you the processing, but then I took it and then you freeze and flatten. And what you're going to look for is, you see how there's like if you split these into quarter notes, the reason why we're flattening this is because you see how these are a little bit different. Like, you get like this one, which will be more dense, and then this one, which is like not quite as full, and you can hear that too. See how it's like you get different rumbles out of it? So this is why we're doing this, because this kick, a big part of like what people think it is they think it's just like this reverb that somehow perfectly just sits right, and it's like, and it just does it, and you have a live reverb going. It's not that. What they're doing and how they got this is bouncing down one of these, literally just taking the most dense one. So in this case, it's like this, and looping that. That is the secret to the sound. Everybody thinks, oh, it's like a send with some reverb on it. No, that's why you're having trouble getting it the same. It's literally like bounce this down to audio. Or in the case of like, you know, back when this was made, you know, using a sampler and just recording in that one little rumble, right? Because again, as soon as you start doing all the other ones, see, you're getting like slightly different things. So you need to just take one of those. And then what I did, you can see it up here. I'll make a track under that and just do it again. So then once you have that one that's going to be your solid, like steady rumble. Then you have to shape it to be like the shed kick. And if you look at the waveform, you can actually see what's happening with the rumble. So there's the kick right here. We've got that, right? We've already got a kick sample doing that. And then the rumble is like this. It's like it's this little thing at the end. Right? It's not a whole long held out. It's just like this very short little punchy thing, which is coming up on that 8th note there. So you can take the fade inside of Ableton and literally just do like this. Right? Like fade it in so it's after that kick, right? Like if we're looking at the original, it hits right around there, a little bit after the kick, and then it dips out. You can see that. You see how down here there's like almost nothing. It's just all you're seeing in the waveform there is from that ride cymbal. So that's the secret. It's this really short rumble. Like it should be something like that. So now we can get rid of that. And I'll show you. So here's ours that I did already. So I'll turn off the processing. We're starting with this. Right? See how it comes after the kick. And then we're distorting it using this amp. Right? Creating like a standard rumble. Which obviously when we distort the reverb, you get that high end, but you also get a really nice rumbling low end. And then it's a bandpass filter. And that is the other secret, is the bandpass. Because a lot of times, you know, when you do a rumble, you just low pass it. And see how that's like not quite the same? The bandpass is a bit more airy. And it's not so heavy and like weighing you down. It's still very bassy. It's still at 80 hertz. So it's really just giving you that low end. But it's just not so like heavy. It's a bit more like kind of bouncing off of the kick. And I think that's a big part of the sound as well. Is the way. You know, it's actually a pretty light rumble when you think about it. And that's why you want to do that. Because yeah, the low pass will just make it too heavy. So we have that. And then we're using an EQ8 to cut a little bit more sub. And just kind of really make sure there's no like really deep sub weighing it down. And then a utility at the end, converting it to mono using the left ear. And there you go. Just 2 layers and you get the shed kick. And then I have those grouped together with a little bit of overdrive on the group. So here's without it. With it. Now, what's happening here is we're filtering this quite a bit, right? And then not using that much drive. The dynamics are all the way up, which does make it a bit punchier. Typically, if I'm doing this on a kick, I'll turn that up so that you don't kind of like just compress everything, because distortion can compress your sounds. But then what's happening here is it's only 7% wet. So it's like a really subtle layer. It goes from this to this. But you can hear it kind of just adds a little bit more fullness, a bit more of that like warehousey kind of low end, like in the original. And also what it does is it kind of glues these together, because saturation is kind of like adding harmonics onto sounds, right? That's how saturation works. That's why it sounds so full and distorted, is because it's adding the harmonic content to the sound. So if you take something like this, where it's these 2 layers going into one overdrive like this, you're going to add harmonics to both of them at the same time, and thus it's going to kind of glue it together. And the other thing, keep in mind, this original is made with like analog gear. You know, and like an analog mixing desk. And that adds a bit of saturation itself. So this is also kind of approximating that. And a lot of that like saturating kind of glue is going to come from like the analog gear, right? And there we go. So that's how you make the shed kick. It's not that hard. I think it's just very close attention to detail on the actual 909 kick sample being a really good one that has everything you want it to be. But then also the rumble work, and not just, you know, kind of taking the reverb, putting distortion after it, and calling it a day. But working with that 1 quarter note and really shaping it with the fades. You know, this is what took me the most time here, was honestly just sitting here and dialing in these fades to be exactly like the right thing and have it end on time too. Like I said, it's not just coming into it, it's also that ending, how it's and it like cuts, you know, like there's no sub in like that little millisecond there. So you really want to just make this a short rumble, shorter than you probably would think, but again, just creates that awesome groove. And there we are. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Definitely grab this template. The link is right at the top of the description. For just $5, you get this perfect recreation of the shed kick, the one that everybody's been wondering how to make. Plus, you get these 4 other kicks that I made in that style, so you can, you know, really get started here and make some cool tracks. This kick has a really interesting groove. I think a lot of people have used this, even like sampling it, but now you can just use it live and work with it on your own and build a great track around this. Link is at the top of the description. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. I really don't make a whole lot off of YouTube, but every little bit helps. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video.